pledged to step up efforts to battle the virus. Tony Waterman has more.
Belgian health experts say the anti-COVID measures already in place, including the closure of all bars and restaurants and a curfew, have done little to slow the virus's spread. And health officials are calling for an immediate lockdown to prevent hospitals from becoming overwhelmed. More than half of the country's COVID-19 ICU beds are now occupied and set to hit capacity next week. Some patients are reportedly already being transferred to Germany for treatment, a tactic that could be used elsewhere. EU leaders have agreed to set aside more than $255 million to finance the transfer of patients across the 27-member bloc. But with all of Europe now heavily impacted by the second wave, it's unclear how effective the program will be. Leaders also pledged to keep borders open, improve testing and contact tracing, and create a plan to manufacture and distribute a vaccine once one becomes available.
Police in Russia have shot dead a 16-year-old who set fire to a police station and stabbed an officer. Investigators are treating the incident as an act of terrorism. Julia Chapman has more from Moscow.
The teenager allegedly used a Molotov cocktail to target a police station in a small town in central Russia. The incident took place in the Muslim-majority Republic of Tatarstan. Investigators say he stabbed a police officer at least 3 times as he was being arrested. Another officer shot him after firing warning shots, and he died of his wounds before medics arrived. Social media in Russia has reported that he was shouting Islamist slogans during the attack. Julia Chapman, Moscow.
And active COVID-19 infections in India have dropped below 600,000. Shriyoshi Mukherjee has more.
India recorded 563 deaths in the past day, pushing the death toll to above 120,000 fatalities. Though the infections are rising at a slower pace, health experts are concerned that cases may spike once again because of the deteriorating air quality in Delhi. They say it will aggravate respiratory problems and may complicate India's fight against the pandemic. At a COVID review meeting with the Indian Health Ministry on Thursday, Delhi's health officials blamed the air pollution as one of the reasons for a 46% rise in coronavirus cases over the past month.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
Keyboard Cat, Hamilton the Pug, and Toast Meets World. These are some of the internet's most beloved pets. And they all have one thing in common. Their stories started in a shelter. Start your story. Adopt a dog or cat today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a pet near you. Training that pet to play the keyboard, that's optional. Start a story. Adopt a shelter or rescue pet today. Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
Okay, what are you wearing right now?
Nothing.
That's right. So mommy's gonna teach you how to dress yourself. Underwear always comes first, name tag at the back, then pants, then shirt. Get the first button in the right hole or you have to start all over. Socks going first, then shoes, right on right, left on left. With shoelaces, just take the ends, cross them over, switch the loops, the rabbit goes down the hole, pull tight, and you're left with bunny ears. Got it? Why are your pants on your head?
Most parenting's hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. Visit 2min2x.org to find out more. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council.
How's it going?
I'm having a stroke.
Are you going to shake my hand?
I'm having a stroke.
Wow, you're not even moving your arm.
I'm having a stroke.
When someone is having a stroke, they may not be able to say it with words, but their body language will tell you loud and clear. Look for FAST. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911 immediately. Know the sudden signs. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
The storks are bringing me a baby brother. We can do this together.
All right, let's go.
Storks know how to keep kids safe. Do you?
What?
Oh my gosh, you don't know.
I know.
You don't. Oh man, you laugh when you're uncomfortable.
No.
Making sure your child is in the right car seat is one of the steps to safer travel.
I will rock this.
You will rock this.
To know for sure that your child is in the right car seat for their age and size, visit safercar.gov/the-right-seat.
Cool. Very cool.
Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
The following is a production of Fenix Media. The views expressed do not necessarily represent those of the company or its advertisers and may contain language that's unsuitable for younger listeners.
Laugh it up, fuzzball.
I'm about to do to you what Limp Bizkit did to music in the late 90s.
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
There goes the last DJ.
Gentlemen, I wash my hands of this weirdness.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Kristian Fenix Radio Show. It is Friday, October 30th. We are your daily dose of laughs and levity in a crazy, crazy world. I'm joined by my co-host, Mr. Tony Sanfilippo. Tony, how you doing today?
Doing great, my friend. It is Friday, the last day of the week. Much like you, exhausted. Had to do a late night for a big walk this morning, so didn't get home till about 1 a.m. Put the show together, got to bed about 2:30, somewhere in there, and didn't help the night before. I got a little sleep too, but ready to be extra goofy and wacky, I guess. So how are you doing, my friend?
Oh, you know what? I'm feeling better now. A little behind-the-scenes stuff for those who enjoy sort of those sorts of things. Well, yesterday I had a big database crash, and so was very concerned that wasn't going to have everything back up and running in time for today's show. But we're so dedicated to you guys, the listeners, that sure enough, went through and got it all back up and running. And guess what? We are here now and doing our show for you. So I was up till about midnight doing that, but you know what? It was well worth it.
Yeah, definitely. We were close to having to run a best of. Not only that, but you've got a flight to catch literally as the show ends today. And then, of course, the little tidbit for our viewers, Monday we'll be running a best of because you'll be in California with the Fenix brothers, with the Fenix boys. That's right.
Yeah, so as Tony mentioned, we will be running a best of on Monday, so we won't have Silly Rabbit. This bit is for kids, but we will be back Tuesday with a brand new show, so you certainly won't want to miss that. Now, let's go ahead and kick things off the way we do each and every day with a question for my co-host, Tony. When is it okay to blame something on your kids?
Oh, like you blame your kids for a lot of things if you really wanted to. I think an acceptable one is if if you ate like the cookies or something, right? Like if you're married, you got kids, you eat that sweet treat, like your wife tells you not to eat or something, like no one touched that, you eat it. And then they say, who ate the cookies? Oh, little Johnny over here.
Wasn't me.
Yeah, so I think that would be an acceptable time to blame your kids, stealing a sweet treat there.
I think that's fair enough. Well, there's this woman out of Walt Disney World in Florida. It is a place for families. So a Georgia woman accused of attempting to hide a loaded firearm in some plants outside of Disney World theme park told deputies her 6-year-old was actually the one who put it there. However, video and witness statements showed otherwise. The October 8th incident happened when the Advent health worker, checking temperatures before guests entered Magic Kingdom at the Ticket and Transportation Center, notified security after seeing a woman take something from a stroller and place it behind some plants near the tents before the security checkpoint. The woman then proceeded through the metal detector into the park. Security alerted the Orange County Sheriff's Department, who looked inside the purse near the planter and immediately recognized the butt of a firearm. At that point, the woman, identified as Marcia Temple, approached the deputy and said, "Ma'am, that's mine." When the deputy asked why Temple had a firearm at Disney, she told the deputy, "I told my son to hold it for me and stand right here while I go get my brother. He put it down and messed with the plants, and I put them back. But I didn't know he put it down, and I didn't know he left it over there." Sure. Temple placing the purse in the plants was captured.
I didn't know.
Was captured on Disney World security cameras. Obviously, there's cameras everywhere. When asked why she would give a gun to a 6-year-old, Temple said she asked him to hold it so she could get her brother and take it back to the car. Either way, she is definitely not a winner. Stashing it and then blaming it on your kid is almost not as bad as just handing a loaded firearm to your kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is when it is awful. You definitely don't do anything like that for sure. That's just terrible.
Yeah. And so in that case, she was charged with concealed firearm, posted a $5,000 bail. I would assume that the punishment would be more severe, but hey, you never know. People never cease to amaze me. And this one actually could have fallen under Florida Man because it did take place at Walt Disney World down there in Florida. So.
Yeah, that one very much could have. Yeah, it's just amazing to me. It's like when people come into my work and they shoplift, it's usually they'll stash it in the baby's, like the stroller, their diaper bag. I've seen things like that. And then they use their kids' accessories to steal stuff. And I think that's terrible. That's an awful thing to do. But I see it happen, though. It does unfortunately happen.
That it does. Well, folks, we have a wonderful show lined up for you today to close out the week. It is Friday. Let's talk about today's show, shall we?
It's Friday. Gotta get down on Friday. Everybody's looking forward to the weekend.
We're looking forward to the weekend. As we do on Fridays, we're going to take you out into the weekend on an up note with good news, everyone. We have a topic called truck-sized plot holes. Our call-in topic today is inappropriate costumes. The more offensive, the better. We have G-Man's matchups, NFL Week 8. Rounding out the show is This Day in History. And up next, Tony is here with the entertainment news. Folks, don't go anywhere. We'll be back in a few.
And I'm the center of attention at summer barbecues. In '96, I made some of the tastiest s'mores. And in '09, it was me, your backyard fire pit, that accidentally started a wildfire when a summer breeze carried one of my embers into some dry brush.
Spark a change, not a wildfire. Visit SmokeyBear.com, brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Hope you enjoyed your meal. And I just want to say, he's lucky to have a brother like you.
Lucky? Caring for my brother is far from easy. But he's a part of me, like my arms and legs, so I'll be his. No time for tired. Nothing can disable this love. He needs me, but I'm the lucky one, even though I need help now and then.
If you're caring for a loved one, visit aarp.org/caregiving for care guides and community. Support for your strength. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
What if I told you that a tornado was going to happen tomorrow, right where you live? That it would touch down at exactly 3:17 p.m., and I told you the exact path it would take. You would, of course, prepare. You would talk with your loved ones, and you'd make a plan today. It's true, I can't tell you a tornado will strike tomorrow, but shouldn't you have a plan anyway? Go to ready.gov/communicate and make your emergency plan today. Don't wait. Communicate. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
This is Mario Andretti. You know me as a race car driver, but I'm also a Meals on Wheels volunteer. I've raced against the sport's biggest personalities, but I've never met more vibrant, amazing people than the seniors served by Meals on Wheels. You can make a difference by dropping off a hot meal and saying a quick hello. So, America, let's do lunch. Volunteer your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad.
Welcome to Calvin's Barbershop.
You all gotta see this.
I don't even want to know what you're looking at on that phone.
Well, you should. I was learning about the dangers of high blood pressure and that we need to get ours checked regularly. High blood pressure can increase the risk of heart attack or stroke, but this text program can help keep it at a healthy range. Just text Barbershop to 97779 to sign up.
I'll get right on it as soon as I'm done with this baby panda video.
Text Barbershop to 97779. A message from the American Heart Association and the Ad Council.
It's important to plan ahead for emergencies, like the storm. When it kicked in, we had a plan. We were able to get in touch with each other in no time.
Idea how to find each other.
The whole experience was fine.
The most frightening 10 hours of my life.
If there's one piece of advice I'd offer other moms out there, it's to stay calm and keep to the plan.
Some parents plan ahead, some don't. Make sure you know where to find your family in an emergency. Start your plan at ready.gov. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Fenix Media, the future of broadcasting. Listen live at phoenixmedia.us. Get everything you need for the Kristian Fenix Radio Show over at phoenixmedia.us or on Facebook at facebook.com/Fenix Media Radio. Now back to the show. And we are back, folks. This is the Kristian Fenix Radio Show. It is Friday, October 30th. Now, we have a little thing called the Fenix Line. It's a 24-hour day, 7-day-a-week voicemail line giving you guys the opportunity to chime in on anything whatsoever. Maybe you blamed your 6-year-old for holding your gun for you. You never know. But if that's the case, give us a call on the Fenix Line. That number, 855-FENIX-RADIO. That's 855-FENIX-RDO or 855-336-4973. All we ask is that you keep it entertaining. We'll compile those together and put them out in a future show. Now, it is the second segment of this show, and that means Tony's here with the entertainment news.
Good morning, everybody. It is Friday, October 30th, and here is the Filippo Fast 5. All right. Starting it out, Sacha Baron Cohen, a.k.a. Borat, has donated $100,000 to babysitter Janice Jones. Janice Jones appeared in the film after she said she felt misled by the Borat film to film crew. Now that's a very nice. I'll give you $100,000 for being my movie.
I saw he
It's
actually
Amazon money.
I saw he upped that to $200,000 actually.
Oh, well, I must have just changed overnight.
Yep.
So made it even. Sweeten the pot. Give you 2. Might as well make it 3. Sasha. Star Wars Disney Plus confirms Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka Tano. Ahsoka Tano. Wow, Filippo lit early. For The Mandalorian Season 2, obviously, that is live today. You can stream it after this show. Mando Season 2 is good. Based on what I can see in my news feed, a lot of people have watched it so far and getting rave reviews. I'm trying not to read anything. So
if I had the soundbite, I'd do good.
Oh, I do, but it's a little high. Okay, doesn't matter.
Oh, well.
Neil Gaiman reveals a new Sandman details for Netflix. He promises the series will be very scary and very true to the Mirage comic book series. So, is it the DC Vertigo area?
Yeah, it used to be DC Vertigo. Now it's DC Black. They changed it over and over again, but a great comic book series.
Yeah, so nonetheless, probably won't be the last time you hear that name. Spoiler. Clemson quarterback Trevor Lawrence has tested positive for the
Coronavirus!
the future Denver Bronco quarterback. He is sidelined, so yeah, I'm being just hopeful. He's either going to be a Jet or a Giant, or he could even be a Patriot at this point.
Yeah.
They straight have just announced they're going to try to trade as many people as they can. So a little dumpster fire up there in New England.
Right.
It's kind of funny. Just saying, not a guy. But if you guys are, it sucks. I know how that feels with the rebuild. It's terrible. We've been doing it for years.
It's not easy.
It's
Yep.
awful. No. And lastly, in the Fast 5, Saved by the Bell, obviously, as we talked about it yesterday, is coming back to the Peacock with all the original cast minus Screech, Mr. Belding,
and Lisa Turtle.
And Lisa Turtle until now. Last night, Lark Voorhees has revealed she has joined the cast of the upcoming Peacock revival. Voorhees shared a photo of herself on the show and announced, surprise, Lisa Turtle is getting back together with her Bayside fam. Mark Paul Gosselaar even shared it on Instagram. And you know what? In the picture, she looks good. She didn't look like that, like recent pictures of her with the weird white face. Mm-hmm. She looked weird. She looks just like Lisa Turtle. So, yeah, she'll be getting back. Still no Screech or Mr. Belding, but Lisa Turtle will be back on the revival. So
yeah, I've heard she went bat-esque crazy.
Yeah, I did too, and I felt like she was on Good Morning Miss Bliss. She was one of the longer running characters. Along with, I get why Dustin Diamond wasn't in the show because he's a little jerk, and he wrote a nasty book saying things about the whole cast. So I could see why they don't want him back. But yeah, that's pretty cool to see Lisa Turtle back. I didn't see that one coming.
Yeah.
Kind of knew everybody else was. So, but you can check that out at the end of November if you want on the Peacock if you have it. You have Netflix, right? Most people have Netflix. Yeah, pretty much everyone has Netflix. Well, Netflix announced on Thursday that it is raising its prices for standard plan and premium plan for U.S. consumers. The 2-streamed HD plan will go from $12.99 to $13.99. It was $7.99 when it started. So
I remember.
It's gone up tremendously, yeah. While the 4-stream 4K premium plan is raising from $15.99 a month to $17.99. The 1-stream SD, like you just want a regular old streaming, will remain priced at $8.99 a month. All new subscribers will pay this price, while current subscribers will just see the price increase over the next few months. An email will be sent out to all subscribers notifying them of the increase, and notification will appear within 30 days on the app. The last time they raised their prices was January 2019. The news comes about a week after Netflix revealed that 5 of the recent original movies are among their biggest ever, which is a sign that Netflix is doing all right with new streaming competitors such as Disney Plus, HBO Max, and Peacock. Peacock's not a competitor.
No.
Netflix is also... Okay, now it just tells you all about Netflix. So basically, what's your take on that? I mean, you chime in below if you're watching the show, YouTube Live, wherever, Facebook. Let us know what you think. If you're a Netflix subscriber, Kristian, what do you think, buddy?
Disappointed! You know, Netflix has been shelling out tons of money for exclusive deals with like Adam Sandler and other people. And
Halloween is tomorrow, and it's the biggest one. I need more money for my thermos.
Well, and that's the thing. If they're paying them more, why do we have to foot the bill?
Yeah. Well, and I think right now this could eventually be one of those things that bites them in the butt. Yeah, they have the original content and stuff, but if your competitors are right there with you, raising the price doesn't seem like the right thing to do.
No.
You know, it just seems like you're doing good making original content. You're getting more and more subscribers. It just seems like a natural fit. Now, I know it is natural evolution to go up, but yeah, it's kind of a bummer. The 4K one shocks me. That's going up $2 versus just $1.
Right.
So...
Yeah, and given the fact that competitors like Disney Plus are, what, $6 a month? You know,
yeah.
I think HBO Max is the only one that's more expensive at $15, but that was already, an HBO premium service to begin with. So
right
now you just get more for your money.
Yeah, definitely, especially once they put in the DC stuff. So that's news out of the streaming world. I know you are not a Masked Singer watcher. But maybe you might be on this new show. You might be for it.
I'm listening.
I don't think you will. Fox has has the show just for you, Kristian. So if you think Dancing with the Stars is too easy because the celebrities can see while dancing, well, the network announced a new spinoff to The Masked Singer called The Masked Dancer.
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
Hey, come on, man. They'll wear fun costumes that the Masked Singer has become known from. The series is inspired by a segment on the Ellen DeGeneres show and will be hosted by The Office actor Craig Robinson. So celebrities will get in masks, dance, and you have to guess who's dancing under that mask. My thought is it's actually going to do pretty good because people like the dancing shows. People like this Masked Singer show. I'm sure they'll put some silly guest hosts and they'll put all that crazy stuff. So knowing the success, because I didn't think the Masked Singer would do good. I really didn't.
No, and it's huge. And that's the thing. It does well because it's garbage. It's sort of lowest common denominator television, which is really disappointing.
Yeah, it does really good. Because when I first saw it, I go, there's no way that show even makes it like more than a month or so. That looks terrible. And I did watch it. It's okay. It's not something I need to watch every week. It's a little is what it is. I don't know how many B-listers you could find or sports stars that are not playing anymore. I mean, it's just kind of those things. It's like, all right. So if you're if you're a Masked Singer fan, you'll be a fan of the Masked Dancer, I guess. It'll be sometime in 2021 when you see it. One show I am interested in, and this goes to my Fast Five little hint. Lucifer is clearly a show that made a deal with the devil because it survived its demise on more than one occasion. After airing it for 3 seasons on Fox, the series was canceled by the network. After a major fan outcry, Netflix swooped in and announced it was picking up the series for a 4th season. The show became so popular that the streamer made a surprising move when they renewed the show for a 5th and final season. More fan outcry happened, and so they gave them one more. They decided, okay, well, we'll give you a 6th season. Given all the times Lucifer has avoided being banished back to hell, you would think that you could sneak just one more in for fun. But series star Tom Ellis, who plays Lucifer, says he's ready to say goodbye to the show once it wraps up the 6th season run. Ellis gave an interview to the Kings of Con podcast and explained 6 seasons of the show is a real achievement. It's been a huge emotional journey, and I don't think I want to do anymore. I know I don't want to do anymore, mainly because I want to know that we're ending it and because I had such a great time. I think it's only fitting that we have a proper ending to the show. It's good that Ellis knows that it's likely time to wrap things up, no matter how... Ooh, I lost my little thing. It scrolled up. No matter how good that the show has been and how much fun he's had doing it. Fans seem to still love the show as it is. The 5th season was #1 on the Netflix charts. The streamer also announced that the show had scored the biggest TV series opening weekend ever on the platform. The show is obviously still viable, but it is probably best to go out while it's still on top. Lucifer is based on DC Comics character created by Neil Gaiman, Sam Keith, and Mike Dringenberg, and it's taken from the comic book series The Sandman. That's where it all comes from. So That's a nice little tie together for our
bookended it.
Listeners there. Yeah, definitely. And one more, and then I'll go into the birthday news. Gremlins Secret of the Mogwai is getting closer for HBO Max. Some artwork shows the animation. The stills out there. I don't know about this thing. It only shows the young Mr. Wing he's walking down the streets of China, and there's a little Mogwai to his right. The animation looks a little weird, but we'll see until there's an actual trailer. But basically, this thing, it takes place in 1920 Shanghai. Sam Wing, the future shop owner, Mr. Wing from the 1984 movie, shows the journey between the young Mogwai called Gizmo and himself. They're going to be battling colorful monsters and spirits from Chinese folklore. So it's going to be much different than the Gremlins that we know.
Right.
And it is going to be animated, but it will be on HBO Max. It will still be something I'll check out, but they finally released their first little still shot of the animation, and it's kind of underwhelming. I don't know if you've been able to see that.
I haven't seen it yet, but you know what? Until we see like actual footage of the animation, I'll reserve judgment.
I agree. Like, it's one of those things you see at first, you're like, they could have done better. But I digress, and we might as well dance on into the Friday birthdays. It's my birthday! Oh, yeah. It's my daughter Ivanka Trump. It's her birthday today. She's 39. Beautiful, beautiful girl.
She's huge.
Such a nice young lady. She's got a huge heart. She's lovable. Ivanka, happy birthday, 39. Edge wrestler, a.k.a. Adam Copeland. He's also in Vikings and a bunch of TV shows. He's 47. Nia Long, who was in Friday. Damn! She's 50. Marcus Mariota, the once touted Titans quarterback that is now just a backup for the Nevada Raiders or Las Vegas Raiders, is 27. Hey, the Henry Winkler, the Fawn, 75. And Mr. Bush himself, Gavin Rosdale, is 55. Happy birthday, young kids. Enjoy your day.
Well, folks,
that's your entertainment news.
That does do it for the entertainment news. When we come back, it's time for Good News, everyone, where we take you into the weekend on an up note. Folks, don't go anywhere. We'll be back in a few.
Most of my family, they never graduated high school, so I'm trying to break that barrier.
My daughter, Brooklyn, was also a motivation for me to go back to school.
Every day after work, went straight to school, and it paid off.
At age 26, Kareem finished his high school diploma.
I could not have done it alone. I see the future is really bright for me.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
So I'm a cat, and I just moved in with this new human, and she's got this little toy she's always playing with, all day long. Tap, 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 bloop, bloop. She can't put it down. There it is. Oh, and get this. She even talks to it. Last week, she asked it for Chinese, and guess what? Egg rolls showed up. Like magic. Humans have cool toys.
A person is the best thing to happen to a shelter pet. Be that person. Adopt. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the ShelterPetProject.org.
What if I told you that a tornado was going to happen tomorrow, right where you live? That it would touch down at exactly 3:17 p.m., and I told you the exact path it would take. You would, of course, prepare. You would talk with your loved ones, and you'd make a plan today. It's true, I can't tell you a tornado will strike tomorrow, but shouldn't you have a plan anyway? Go to ready.gov/communicate and make your emergency plan today. Don't wait, communicate. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
This is Mario Andretti. You know me as a race car driver, but I'm also a Meals on Wheels volunteer. I've raced against the sport's biggest personalities, but I've never met more vibrant, amazing people than the seniors served by Meals on Wheels. You can make a difference by dropping off a hot meal and saying a quick hello. So, America, let's do lunch. Volunteer your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
People been saying to your friend, get a different face, and posting on their feed, they're super ugly. The things they say to them online are cruel and they're not true. So tell your friend, I'll stand up for you. Don't worry, I know what to do.
Know someone being bullied online? You can be a witness and make a difference by letting the world know it isn't cool and by letting your friend know you care. Learn more at eyewitnessbullying.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Hope you enjoyed your meal. And I just want to say, he's lucky to have a brother like you.
Lucky? Caring for my brother is far from easy. But he's a part of me, like my arms and legs, so I'll be his. No time for tired. Nothing can disable this love. He needs me, but I'm the lucky one, even though I need help now and then.
If you're caring for a loved one, visit aarp.org/caregiving for care guides and community. Support for your strength. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Fenix Media, the future of broadcasting. Listen live at phoenixmedia.us. Get everything you need for the Kristian Fenix radio show over at phoenixmedia.us or on Facebook at facebook.com/Fenix Media Radio. Now back to the show. And we are back, folks. This is the Kristian Fenix radio show. It is Friday, October 30th. I almost said October 3rd. We are all over social media with many of you watching us right now on Facebook Live or YouTube Live as we speak. Now, if you want to get a hold of us on social, you can reach me at facebook.com/Kristian Fenix Radio. That's Kristian with a K, Fenix with an F, radio, of course, with an R, or on Instagram at Fenix Media Radio. Tony's available at facebook.com/Tony.Sanfilippo. That's SANFILIPPO.94. Or on Instagram at Tony.Sanfilippo81. So by all means, reach out to us. Let us know what you're up to. But it is Friday today, and as we do on Fridays, we'd like to take you into the weekend on an up note with a segment we like to call
Good News, everyone!
All right, so I'll go ahead and kick off good news. Each morning at 7 a.m., Tessa Solomon Williams settles in at the window of her 8th floor apartment and watches across the way as members of the gym next door work out on the roof. The 90-year-old Solomon Williams has been cooped up inside her Washington, D.C. apartment for months due to the COVID-19 pandemic. And so watching others exercise at the neighboring Balance Gym has made her sole source of inspiration, or has been her sole source of inspiration. She said, "I never miss it. I love watching them." And they love being watched, so much so that after Solomon Williams' daughter shared with them the sweet story,
Balance Gym created a special Keep Moving mural for her to see each day from her window. Solomon Williams' daughter, Tanya Wettenhall, first let the gym know of her mother's daily routine earlier this month in an email that Balance shared to its Facebook page. Wittenhall, 53, began her message by acknowledging that though the sentiment might be odd, it was genuine, and she wanted to thank the gym members for working out each day. She said, seeing everyone on the roof working out and keeping up with their routines has given her hope. As a former dancer, she has exercised vigorously almost every day of her life, and if she could, she would try and join the members. Trust me, but she's 90 and wobbly. Wettenhall said that during regular phone calls with her mom, Solomon Williams always commented on just how hard the members were exercising and that she was certain that they had to be training for the Olympics or something similar. She said her worst days are rain days, and she worries if your members are okay and getting their exercise. I hope you can share with your members that they have given an elderly lady much joy in seeing them embrace health and life. The gym was so moved by the message that it announced the mural several weeks later as a means of continuing to inspire and motivate watching neighbors like Solomon Williams. A former professional ballerina in the International Ballet, Williams moved to D.C. 4 years ago after the death of her husband, whom she met while dancing in nightclubs in Paris. The London native spent many years in his hometown of Spokane, Washington, where she ran a ballet school of her own for 34 years and raised 2 children. Her daughter also told the Post, even in her 90s, Solomon Williams still loved keeping fit and often attended exercise classes in her retirement home. And it goes to show, if you've got a healthy way of life that regardless of your age, you still have that inspiration, you still have that willingness to at least try. And in this case, it brings her a lot of joy to see other people try as well. And the fact that the gym is giving back with a mural that they've titled Keep Moving is just sort of a great give and take, especially in this time where social distancing is a big thing. So that is my
good news, everyone.
That is good news.
What do you think, Tone? You still going to go to the gym when you're 90?
Probably not. I think, right now, it seems like when I tell people I go to the gym, it seems to be like a daily routine after the show's done, after I take a visit down. I say I go to the old Sherwood Forest. I like to go hit the gym. The reason why is because it clears my head, preps me for a day, before a lot of mental anguish, planning. It just clears it. Sometimes if I'm kind of stuck in my head, it's a good way to clear it. While some people like to drink and do other things, that's kind of my outlet. But at 90, I don't know if my crippled ass could do that. I don't anticipate many body parts working at 90. We'll see.
I don't blame you. But regardless, that was a fun, loving story. Tony,
Definitely.
What is your
good news, everyone?
Well, mine kind of hits me in 2 different ways. I found this article just randomly. I saw it, somebody shared it on Facebook, but what really tied it to me is it took place where my sister lives. So it comes out of Gillette, Wyoming. My sister literally lives around the corner from this place. We're going to Campbell County High School. Author, and this has a lot to do with one of my favorite bands, so growing up. Author Mary Shelley and guitarist Eddie Van Halen had at least one thing in common. They both created a Frankenstein. In the 1970s, Van Halen cobbled together the best parts of a Gibson guitar and a Fender Stratocaster, a modern mad scientist searching for the perfect guitar tone. He called it Frankenstein. In his final steps of creation, he painted the guitar black, then taped off the lines of the body and spray painted it white. Finally, he taped another set of lines, crisscrossing the others at random points, and spray painted it red. The famous red and white abstract visual is copyrighted under the same name, Frankenstein. On October 6, the 1980s hair rock superstar, I don't think he's a hair rock.
No.
I wouldn't say that. I would just say rock superstar, died at age 65. 4 Campbell County high school students couldn't let the moment pass without paying their respects and like Van Halen themselves. They turned cans of black and white spray paint. It took Zach Ross, Brandon Hoffer, Adrian Makis, and Kendall Mckee almost 6 hours to paint their camel sculpture in front of Campbell County High School, their their little mascot is a camel, in the Van Halen Frankenstein design. It was freezing cold by the time they were done, they said. The idea originated with Ross, a 17-year-old senior, a budding guitarist with profound love for Van Halen's music. Words are hard today, especially when you're tired. Like, words are extra hard to read. I don't know why that is. Like, I see it, but it comes out such a goofy way. Like, it's like I read it in my head just fine. He knew about the 1980s rock group. They're actually from the 70s. Van Halen from his father, but he really studied it during freshman year when his music teacher, Mr. Strouch, asked the class to analyze a live solo of Van Halen's. Hoffner, an 18-year-old senior and saxophone player in the band, knew of Van Halen music because of his grandpa introduced him to it. He'd given a senior speech on how the rock star had changed the way guitar is played, and it inspired him as a musician. Honestly, it makes me want to experiment more, Hoffner said. That's what Eddie did on guitar. Makis, an 18-year-old senior and saxophone player also in the band, didn't know about Van Halen until his friendship with Ross and Hoffner. That definitely appealed to me, listening to those people like that take solos for hours. It's really cool to see someone take their ideas from their mind and put it into guitar and let the guitar speak for them. I want to be able to shred just like him, just on different instruments. The news of the guitar legend's death hit both of these guys hard. I know that first day I was just crying every now and then because I was just sitting there listening to his music and thinking about all the times that maybe life was dragging me down and gave me an outlet. And I just thought how cruel life can be sometimes. Just knowing that he died, I never got to meet him and thank him for inspiring me really upset me, even though I'm sure he heard that from everyone. The songs that could be heard from those days booming through the rolled down windows in the parking lot of CCHS aren't likely to be the hits of Van Halen. The boys realize they're paying homage to a bygone era of rock and roll music. I was reading some of the replies on Facebook page, and I remember seeing people saying, "Oh, this is awesome," because I remember listening to Van Halen in that very parking lot. And I said, geez, these people are old. But music is transportive. It stays with people long after they hear it, and it imprints itself on a time, place, person, smell, feeling. It makes music timeless. Kendall Mckee, 16-year-old junior, felt a sense of obligation to help Ross because of how much he knew Van Halen meant to him. They recognized the timelessness of music when he heard Ross's idea to paint the camel, but he was still dealing with the loss of his own. McKee's father, Marty, died in April, and he was a fan of Van Halen. He was very much in touch with rock. He loved listening to Van Halen, AC/DC, Guns N' Roses, Motley Crue, Def Leppard. He knew every song, every band member, and every single line to something he would really enjoy to be a part of this as well. Music is one of the most important things we've got. Now that we know these songs, we wanted to pay back and do something. So during a 2-hour stretch, we decided to make this homage and to pay tribute to somebody like Eddie Van Halen. So what they did was in their little mascot, they must have gotten approval. It never says it did, and they definitely weren't charged with vandalism or anything.
Right.
But they took the little camel. It's definitely like the Frankenstein design. It has the Van Halen logo right in the middle. It's very cool. And I instantly, what pulled me to it was when I read it, I go, oh, it's Van Halen. That's cool. Well, that's cool that these kids did that. And then when I was like, Campbell County, I go, that's where my sister lives. Like, I wonder if it's Gillette. Sure enough, it is. So I asked my sister, I'm like, hey, on your way home from work one day, if you should go by and see this and send me a pic. On her way home, sent me a pic of it. And it's just really cool. I think the fact that Eddie, his music still inspires younger generations, because I would think today in high school, I wouldn't picture too many people knowing who Van Halen is or liking it.
Right.
So
not unless your parents turned you on to it.
Yeah, and this guy, and reading this story actually reminds me similarities of me, you, and Adam. Just how the three of us became best friends was through the love of music. It wasn't Van Halen that pulled us together; it was Megadeth of all bands.
Right.
And it spawned. It was like, oh, we all like Megadeth. What else do you like? Oh, you like Dream Theater? So do I. Oh, you like Motley Crue? So do I. You like Van Halen? So do I. And it just kind of became that way. Music does pull people. It's how we're friends with the Yendras, or how I'm friends with Denny. It all starts with music. It's how all my friendships that are super tight have tied together. So I think that just speaks a lot of personal levels, but nonetheless is a great story too. If I could read it right and not butcher it every 5 seconds, it's a damn good story.
Well, it goes to show that music unites, and I'd certainly say that is
good news, everyone.
All right, folks. Well, we're headed into our break. When we come back, we have a segment called Truck-Sized Plot Holes. If you like movies, you'll like this segment. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in a few.
This is Mario Andretti. You know me as a race car driver, but I'm also a Meals on Wheels volunteer. I've raced against the sport's biggest personalities, but I've never met more vibrant, amazing people than the seniors served by Meals on Wheels. You can make a difference by dropping off a hot meal and saying a quick hello. So, America, let's do lunch. Volunteer your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
People been saying to your friend, get a different face, and posting on their feed, they're super ugly. The things they say to them online are cruel and they're not true. So tell your friend, I'll stand up for you. Don't worry, I know what to do.
Know someone being bullied online? You can be a witness and make a difference by letting the world know it isn't cool and by letting your friend know you care. Learn more at eyewitnessbullying.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Hope you enjoyed your meal. And I just want to say, he's lucky to have a brother like you.
Lucky? Caring for my brother is far from easy. But he's a part of me, like my arms and legs, so I'll be his. No time for tired. Nothing can disable this love. He needs me, but I'm the lucky one, even though I need help now and then.
If you're caring for a loved one, visit aarp.org/caregiving for care guides and community. Support for your strength. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Allison is perfect. I mean, she'd never tell you that. She's humble and perfect. She likes everyone. She even likes her untidy roommate's weird guinea pig. Allison, wait, are you texting and driving? Allison, no. That's the exact opposite of what I was just saying about you. Why, Allison? Why? Texting and driving makes good people look bad. Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
I'm Paul George of the Indiana Pacers. When I was 6, my days were spent playing basketball. When I was 6, my dream was to make it to the NBA. When I was 6, my mom had a stroke. So I want you to learn to spot a stroke fast. F-A-S-T. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911. I'm Paul George. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
My name is Lola Silvestri, and I'm going to be 95 this year. I was very independent. I fell, and I had to have Meals on Wheels. America, let's do lunch.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org. This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Fenix Media, the future of broadcasting. Explore more great shows at phoenixmedia.us. Get everything you need for the Kristian Fenix Radio Show over at phoenixmedia.us or on Facebook at facebook.com/Fenix Media Radio. Now back to the show. And welcome back, folks, to the fourth and final segment, at least of the first hour. We still have a full hour of wonderful programming ahead for you guys. But in this case, if you... You know, it's funny, I'm working on a lot of things behind the scenes, and I always kind of forget where we're at. But if you missed a portion of the show, or you want to go back and catch up on any of the previous shows, go ahead and head over to phoenixmedia.us, click on the show's link, scroll on down to the Kristian Fenix Radio Show. From there, you can get video, you can get audio as well, or head over to wherever you get podcasts, Apple, Google, Stitcher, Spotify, Anchor Breaker, TuneIn, iHeart, about 20 in all. While you're there, be sure to subscribe. That way you always have the latest episode. Leave a review, let us know what you think, and tell your friends, because sharing is caring. Now, Tony and I are both huge movie buffs, obviously. That is no secret if you spend any time listening to the show. But every once in a while, you'll watch a movie where a plot hole is so gaping that you just can't get past it. You know, there is what we've talked about before, the suspension of disbelief, where, you know, you're watching a movie, you understand it's a fictional world or a fictional story. And
fictional characters.
And so you sort of put aside anything that, you know, don't really make sense in the real world. But in some cases, that's just not the case. Sometimes that plot hole is so truck-sized that you just can't get past it. Tony, any come to mind that just blow your mind that it even made it into the movie?
Yeah, some things off the top of my head, I don't have one, but Lacey texted me one last night. And in fact, that's how I knew we were doing this segment, because I was working and I was like, oh, okay. I hadn't looked at the schedule yet. But she said for truck-sized plot holes on the show, in Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark, the movie would have ended the same with or without him. The Nazis would have found the Ark, opened it, and died.
Yep.
It just would have happened. And then on Hocus Pocus, why didn't they just put a spell on the townspeople before they hung them? Didn't have to hang them. They could have just put the spell on them.
Right, made them dance, sang a song. You know how it goes.
Yeah, there's always those things where, like, you know, it's you could also go like, obviously the adventures wouldn't have been as fun, but in Ferris Bueller, you know, if they could have avoided having to get in, you know, with the car, they could have avoided all that if Cameron would have just said, no, we're not taking my dad's car.
Right.
We can go do anything else, but we're not taking my dad's car. They could have avoided that whole thing. So if they wanted. So
all right. For instance, here's one that always sort of got me is in The Mummy with Brendan Fraser. Imhotep steals body parts from the looters to put himself back together. At one point, he takes the eyes from a person wearing glasses. So for the rest of the movie, Imhotep should have really been squinting at everybody or trying to put contacts in or finding glasses. Yeah, why would you steal eyes from the one person who can't see all that well?
Yeah, because, you know, he made it stronger. He had the genes that just put the power through, man.
Oh, moving on with the truck-sized plot holes. How about Cinderella? If all Cinderella's magically transfigured stuff goes back to normal at midnight, carriage back to a pumpkin, dress back to being all dirty, then why the prince walking around with a glass slipper for weeks afterwards? Shouldn't it have changed back into normal old dirty shoe?
Yeah, that's a very good plot hole right there.
Yeah. You know, and that would be funny if he put it away somewhere, then came back to it after it did change back, and then...
Like, what the hell? Where's that glass slipper? What's this smelly-ass, ratty-hole shoe? Why is this little fat mouse in here? Gus Gus. Yeah, Gus Gus.
Here's one that one of our favorite movies of recent years, Avengers, Infinity War, and Endgame. Thanos killed half of all living things because he thought resources weren't sufficient enough for everyone. With his godlike powers, he could have just doubled those resources instead of killing half the people.
Yeah, by the snap of his glove.
Exactly. That's one I never considered, but that does make sense.
Yeah, there was a lot if you really take your element of fun out of the Avengers. There are so many things, you know, like when Chris Pratt's Star-Lord was, you know, like hitting him and stuff. Why didn't like somebody pry him off or something, you know? It just could have avoided. Yeah.
Good movie nonetheless, though.
Yeah, I loved it. Haven't watched it in a long time, though. Kind of should go back.
Moving on this next one, I joke that Jessie is the little girl from Signs because any point you go up to our bedroom and there are glasses of water just everywhere. But the aliens in the movie Signs melted when exposed to water. Why would you try to take over a planet that is covered in 75% water where it rains on land regularly? That one I never got. Why? You would think through all of their advances in technology, they might have figured out that there was an abundance of water on this planet.
Yeah. You would definitely think that you just would go somewhere else. That's kind of a lame thing for it to be afraid of, you know?
Yeah. Talking about gaping plot holes, of course, you can't really take this one too seriously based on just the premise of it. But in Liar Liar, Jennifer Tilly's character gets her way in the divorce despite cheating because she lied about her age.
7!
Therefore making the prenup null and void. However, this would nullify the entire marriage, entitling her to nothing, even still.
Settle! Settle, settle, settle! Settle! I don't want to settle. You said I was the victim. 7! Yeah, whatever.
Still one of the best Jim Carrey movies of all time.
Oh, love it.
The pen is blue.
The G-dang pen is blue.
Moving on with gaping plot holes. We've got Obi-Wan wants to hide Luke Skywalker from his father, so he gives him to his uncle and aunt in their home planet without changing his name, and himself lives near the kid without changing his own surname. So he didn't try that hard to hide him, but I guess the universe or the galaxy was big enough that I guess it didn't really matter.
Yeah, you're right. Never put that together, actually. Like, they still kept him as a Skywalker. They changed Leia's name. Like she wasn't Leia Skywalker.
No, she was Leia Organa.
Even though she was even though she was a Skywalker, they should have, they should have definitely, when they did the prequels, they should have actually, instead of it being Anakin Skywalker, it should have been Anakin something else. That way the Skywalker was the hidden name. So totally get that just now. Not something I thought about.
George Lucas.
Light, sir.
I'm going to have words with you, George. And then finally, as we close out this segment, quick and easy, Shrek 2. How does a donkey shtup a dragon? It just doesn't make any sense. But folks, we are headed into...
I'm making waffles!
We're headed into our long break. When we come back, it is our call-in topic of inappropriate costumes. Don't go anywhere. We'll see you guys in a few. 7 to be exact.
Yeah, whatever.
You're listening to Fenix Media. Listen live and explore more great shows at phoenixmedia.us.
Hamilton was adopted from a rescue in 2008. He really likes to be around people. I get out my mat and I'm doing a downward dog and he's underneath. He's quite the pug about town. He gets invited to a lot of parties. He knows he's a pretty big deal. Look at this little face. How could you not love him?
Hamilton the Pug, Instagram star and shelter pet. Amazing adoption stories start in shelters. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a pet near you. Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
You make sure his toys don't have any sharp edges. You taught her what to do when the smoke alarm goes off. You do so much to keep your child safe. But are you using the right car seat for your child? Car crashes are a leading killer of children ages 1 to 13. Protect your child's future at every stage of life. For information on the right seat for your child, visit safercar.gov/the-right-seat.
A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
So you see, son, good manners are important. Should I go through it again?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Exactly. Always say please, thank you, you're welcome, and excuse me. Sit up straight, hold doors open, don't speak with your mouth full, keep your elbows off the table. Share your things, play nice, and generally treat others the way you'd like to be treated. Got it?
Got it.
And stop picking your nose.
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day, making sure they brush their teeth, is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. Visit 2min2x.org to find out more. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council.
I'm a retired school psychologist, and helping people was my thing. After my stroke, when Meals on Wheels started, I was on the other end of the stick, so to speak. My name is Julius Gaines, creative writer, poet, photographer.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org. This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Fenix Media, the future of broadcasting. To explore our complete lineup, head over to phoenixmedia.us or like our Facebook page at facebook.com/Fenix Media Radio.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Holly Hudson.
The United States is on course for its highest electoral turnout rate in a century based on early voting. It comes as President Trump and his rival Joe Biden make a last-minute push for votes in key battleground states. The Belgian government is expected to announce a raft of new COVID-19 restrictions on Friday, and chances are high that a lockdown will be on the list. It would bring the small European nation in line with the likes of Italy, Portugal, Ireland and Germany, which have all announced some form of a lockdown as infections spiral across the continent. In a late-night press conference on Thursday, EU leaders pledged to step up efforts to battle the virus. Tony Waterman has more.
Belgian health experts say the anti-COVID measures already in place, including the closure of all bars and restaurants and a curfew, have done little to slow the virus's spread, and health officials are calling for an immediate lockdown to prevent hospitals from becoming overwhelmed. More than half of the country's COVID-19 ICU beds are now occupied and set to hit capacity next week. Some patients are reportedly already being transferred to Germany for treatment, a tactic that could be used elsewhere. EU leaders have agreed to set aside more than $255 million to finance the transfer of patients across the 27-member bloc. But with all of Europe now heavily impacted by the second wave, it's unclear how effective the program will be. Leaders also pledged to keep borders open, improve testing and contact tracing, and create a plan to manufacture and distribute a vaccine once one becomes available.
Police in Russia have shot dead a 16-year-old who set fire to a police station and stabbed an officer. Investigators are treating the incident as an act of terrorism. Julia Chapman has more from Moscow.
The teenager allegedly used a Molotov cocktail to target a police station in a small town in central Russia. The incident took place in the Muslim-majority Republic of Tatarstan. Investigators say he stabbed a police officer at least 3 times as he was being arrested. Another officer shot him after firing warning shots, and he died of his wounds before medics arrived. Social media in Russia has reported that he was shouting Islamist slogans during the attack. Julia Chapman, Moscow.
And active COVID-19 infections in India have dropped below 600,000. Shriyoshi Mukherjee has more.
India recorded 563 deaths in the past day, pushing the death toll to above 120,000 fatalities. Though the infections are rising at a slower pace, health experts are concerned that cases may spike once again because of the deteriorating air quality in Delhi. They say it will aggravate respiratory problems and may complicate India's fight against the pandemic. At a COVID review meeting with the Indian Health Ministry on Thursday, Delhi's health officials blamed the air pollution as one of the reasons for a 46% rise in coronavirus cases over the past month.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
Keyboard Cat, Hamilton the Pug, and Toast Meets World. These are some of the internet's most beloved pets, and they all have one thing in common. Their stories started in a shelter. Start your story. Adopt a dog or cat today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a pet near you. Training that pet to play the keyboard, that's optional. Start a story. Adopt a shelter or rescue pet today. Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
Okay, what are you wearing right now?
Nothing.
That's right. So Mommy's gonna teach you how to dress yourself. Underwear always comes first, name tag at the back, then pants, then shirt. Get the first button in the right hole or you have to start all over. Socks going first, then shoes, right on right, left on left. With shoelaces, just take the ends, cross them over, switch the loops, the rabbit goes down the hole, pull tight, and you're left with bunny ears. Got it? Why are your pants on your head?
Most parenting's hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. Visit 2min2x.org to find out more. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council.
How's it going?
I'm having a stroke.
Are you going to shake my hand?
I'm having a stroke.
Wow, you're not even moving your arm.
I'm having a stroke.
When someone is having a stroke, they may not be able to say it with words, but their body language will tell you loud and clear. Look for FAST. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911 immediately. Know the sudden signs. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
The storks are bringing me a baby brother! We can do this together!
All right, let's go.
Storks know how to keep kids safe. Do you?
What?
Oh my gosh, you don't know.
I know.
You don't. Oh man, you laugh when you're uncomfortable.
No.
Making sure your child is in the right car seat is one of the steps to safer travel.
I will rock this!
You will rock this.
To know for sure that your child is in the right car seat for their age and size, visit safercar.gov/the-right-seat.
Get everything you need for the Kristian Fenix Radio Show over at phoenixmedia.us or on Facebook at facebook.com/Fenix Media Radio. Now back to the show.
Laugh it up, fuzzball.
I'm about to do to you what Limp Bizkit did to music in the late 90s.
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
Here goes the last DJ.
Gentlemen, I wash my hands of this weirdness.
Welcome back, everybody, to the second hour of the Kristian Fenix Radio Show. It is Friday, October 30th. We are your daily dose of laughs and levity in a crazy, crazy world. Still joined by my co-host, Tony Sanfilippo. Hey, Tony, did you notice what the system did there? It actually played our commercial rejoiner as opposed to the beginning of the show. And
yeah, I was wondering. I was like, are we not going to do the intro? I was a little confused, but then when I heard it go, I was like, okay, good. But then I was worried before that, because right before that happened, then it did one of those do. It did this echo thing. I go, oh no.
Yeah, and for those of you that didn't listen to the first half of the show, or at least the very beginning of the show, had a database crash yesterday, spent all evening fixing it again, but there's still a few bugs that are being worked out, obviously. I don't know why it did that, or I got to figure out what's going on with it, but you know what? All in all, I think things are going pretty smooth, regardless of, trying to cram 3 days worth of work into about 4 hours last night.
Yeah, you did good. I mean, I was a little confused. I was like, because I was just coming back from making my smoothie. So I was like, now back to the show. I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, wait, I'm not even by the screen yet.
Missed a whole 15 minutes.
Yeah.
But that's the way it goes. Well, folks, this is the interactive portion of the show. This is where we want you guys to chime in on our topic of the day. Now, the way we've been doing it is we ask that you call in. We'll give you the topic for the next show. You can call in anytime before that, leave a message, and let us know your thoughts on it. Or you can chime in on our live Facebook video. Just head over to facebook.com/Kristian Fenix Radio. That's Kristian with a K, Phoenix with an F, radio, of course, with an R, and leave a comment on the live video and let us know what you think. But our interactive question of the day is inappropriate costumes. Have you ever worn one? Have you ever seen one? What is the most offensive thing that you've seen out there? And obviously, people take liberties at this time of year. Maybe this year, not so much, just because of the nature of how, quote unquote, sensitive people are.
Yeah.
But certainly in years past, there have been some just outrageous things that people have worn that I just don't get. Tony, what about you? Have you ever dressed up in something that you look back now and thought, maybe I shouldn't have done that, or seen somebody do as well?
Yeah, I have one that if I did it today, it wouldn't have been pulled off well today. In fact, I could have gotten in big trouble for doing it. It's when I dressed up as Leo when I was down in Arvada. He was a coworker of mine, and he's a really nice guy, but he always used to come up and say, "Hey, Hug Pug, hey, it's my riding name." And he had this long ponytail. He had like these cut off biker gloves he wore every day. He's just always had the flannel on. Hey, and he had a big ponytail. Well, I dressed up to the T. I had glasses just like him. I had the same flannel. I made sure I looked like him. I had the mannerisms down. I had the voice not spot on, but at least my version of it was pretty close. Because he kind of had a raspy voice, not quite Macho Man, but just kind of raspy. I dressed up as him, and I got a lot of laughs. Now, if I would do that in today's current times, that would have been very offensive if he didn't like it.
Right.
Like if he would have found humor in it, that would have been fine. The right thing to do would have been like, "Hey man, would it be weird if I dressed up as you for Halloween? Because you don't want him to think, he could have taken it like I was making fun of him, I was taking a jab, and, then that becomes like a thing of harassment and stuff. So today's standards, that's inappropriate. Would I have changed it? No, I was a young, dumb kid. He saw the pictures. He loved it. He thought it was great. It was never mean-spirited. So that would be mine. Ones I've seen, I have seen someone dressed as a giant penis walking down in Denver one time, which I thought was a little weird.
Yeah, that's bold.
It's a little much.
Yeah.
Little much. Wouldn't do it. Was I offended? No, I was just like, okay.
That takes balls.
So, Hit yourself some drums, sir. You earned that one. This is good.
I agree. Now, I've never dressed up as anything that I look back on and thought, maybe I shouldn't have done that. One that I've always kind of considered is the wayward Mormon missionary. And, the Mormon missionaries, they go about and they've got their uniform. It's the white dress shirt with the short sleeves, black pants, tie, and the name badge. But, you hear the stories about, those who they see the outside world and they start to kind of go crazy. And so I thought it would be funny, of course, maybe not in this era, to dress up like that, but then have like a Playboy sticking out of my back pocket while carrying a can of Coke and, maybe a flask in the front pocket and, just see how many people actually get it. But, again, that's what we're talking about is inappropriate costumes that may not fly in this day and age. Folks, when we come back, we want to hear from you. Chime in on our Facebook Live watch party. Actually, it's not a watch party. It's just the live video. In the comments,
live video.
Let us know what the most inappropriate costume you've ever worn or seen is. When we come back, it's all about you. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in a few.
Welcome to Calvin's Barbershop.
You all gotta see this.
I don't even want to know what you're looking at on that phone.
Well, you should. I was learning about the dangers of high blood pressure and that we need to get ours checked regularly. High blood pressure can increase the risk of heart attack or stroke, but this text program can help keep it at a healthy range. Just text Barbershop to 97779 to sign up.
I'll get right on it as soon as I'm done with this baby panda video.
Text Barbershop to 97779. A message from the American Heart Association and the Ad Council.
It's important to plan ahead for emergencies, like the storm. When it kicked in, we had a plan.
Separated.
We were able to get in touch with each other in no time.
Idea how to find each other.
The whole experience was fine.
The most frightening 10 hours of my life.
If there's one piece of advice I'd offer other moms out there, it's to stay calm and keep to the plan.
Some parents plan ahead, some don't. Make sure you know where to find your family in an emergency. Start your plan at ready.gov. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
I spend a lot of time in the backyard, and I'm the center of attention at summer barbecues. In '96, I made some of the tastiest s'mores. And in '09, it was me, your backyard fire pit, that accidentally started a wildfire when a summer breeze carried one of my embers into some dry brush.
Spark a change, not a wildfire. Visit SmokeyBear.com. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Hope you enjoyed your meal. And I just want to say, he's lucky to have a brother like you.
Lucky? Caring for my brother is far from easy. But he's a part of me, like my arms and legs, so I'll be his. No time for tired. Nothing can disable this love. He needs me, but I'm the lucky one, even though I need help now and then.
If you're caring for a loved one, visit aarp.org/caregiving for care guides and community. Support for your strength. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
What if I told you that a tornado was going to happen tomorrow, right where you live? That it would touch down at exactly 3:17 p.m. and I told you the exact path it would take. You would, of course, prepare. You would talk with your loved ones, and you'd make a plan today. It's true, I can't tell you a tornado will strike tomorrow, but shouldn't you have a plan anyway? Go to ready.gov/communicate and make your emergency plan today. Don't wait. Communicate. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
This is Mario Andretti. You know me as a race car driver, but I'm also a Meals on Wheels volunteer. I've raced against the sport's biggest personalities, but I've never met more vibrant, amazing people than the seniors served by Meals on Wheels. You can make a difference by dropping off a hot meal and saying a quick hello. So, America, let's do lunch. Volunteer your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Fenix Media. Listen live and explore more great shows at phoenixmedia.us. Get everything you need for the Kristian Fenix Radio Show over at phoenixmedia.us or on Facebook at facebook.com/Fenix Media Radio. Now back to the show. And welcome back, folks. We are smack dab in the middle of our call-in topic. This is the Kristian Fenix Radio Show. It is Friday, October 30th. We want to hear from you guys about what we are talking about today. Inappropriate Halloween costumes. I've been looking forward to this one pretty much all Halloween season, just because people, they seem to lose their morals, their values, whatever it may be, just for a good laugh. And, maybe this season more than any other. And so while you don't have the opportunity to call in on this one live right now, you can certainly chime in on our Facebook video. Go to facebook.com/Kristian Fenix Radio, and then go ahead and go to the live video and comment in there. Now, we did get one phone call yesterday for somebody with their pick for an inappropriate costume. Let's go ahead and give it a listen.
Hi, this is Lacey Yendra, and I'm calling in for the call-in topic, and I once saw somebody that was about 8 months pregnant dressed up as a nun for Halloween. Thank you.
That qualifies.
Yay, Lacey!
A pregnant nun, yeah, that's like oil and water. But you know what? It's funny, but maybe not the most appropriate. Tony, on your end, anybody chime in, let you know their pick for the most inappropriate costume they've either seen or worn?
Nothing. So...
Well,
not this morning today. Unfortunately, Hubie Halloween just among us.
And to be fair, Facebook is still acting weird with not letting us start watch parties and not letting us share to groups. And it's this whole thing surrounding the election that they've really sort of cut back on what you're able to do because they're worried somebody's going to influence it. But in any case, that's greatly affected people able to chime in on these segments. So hopefully when we come back next Tuesday, that won't be the case anymore, but we'll see. You never know.
Yeah, we'll see. Fingers crossed. Because is that the day it all ends? No, we have one more.
We have one more day. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but in any case, that's why we pull up a list such as this one of the most offensive costumes for 2020. For instance, a little girl that, and again, I don't know why somebody would make this, but a little Anne Frank Holocaust victim costume. I don't know if there's words to describe it. They say, I can't believe we have to say this, but dressing up as a Holocaust victim is just bad. Several retailers have come under fire for selling an Anne Frank costume for little girls. Many places pulled it off the shelves after customers complained, but others still offer it as a World War II evacuee girl or child's 1940s girl costume. The Holocaust is a historical event we should remember with sadness, not costume party fodder. And I kind of get where, Anne Frank was an inspirational figure in history with what she endured, but celebrating it on Halloween, maybe not the best thing to do.
Nah, I would agree with you. Not the best. Definitely not in best taste right there.
No, not at all. Speaking of not in good taste, and I don't think this was ever really something that you could pull off, though people tried, anything involving blackface.
Yeah, you just don't do that.
Let's get one thing straight. Blackface is never okay. Not under any circumstances. But while the offensive practice includes literally painting your face a shade that isn't your own skin color, it also goes deeper than that. Dressing up in outfits that reinforce racist stereotypes is also a form of blackface. And maybe now more than ever, just, try try to understand what's going on in the world, and just don't do it.
No.
Just keep it tame, keep it civil.
Just not all right.
Yeah. Now, political figures, that one you can go out as, and I wouldn't have a problem with, but that's just me.
No. Well, there's all kinds of funny masks. I mean, shoot. There's the big Trump face you can wear. It's funny.
It is.
It's hilarious, yeah.
Now, here's one that, while the mask is hilarious, maybe not the right time for it. Going as the Corona COVID-19 pandemic, a pandemic that has killed over 100,000 people, basically resist the impulse to dress up in a medical hazmat suit or anything resembling a virus or as a victim of the virus itself. Generic doctor and nurses costumes, yeah, of course that makes sense. People do that every year. But specific costumes that reference the pandemic, maybe not so much right now. Just don't do it.
Yeah, I would. It's one of those things too. Is we're still going through it, and everybody's annoyed, and whether they're upset. It's one of those things no one wants to really deal with. There's no humor in it right now, right?
And regardless of where you stand on the debate about the coronavirus, just know that dressing up as it and going out there as Halloween, you're just inviting people to try and fight you or argue with you, and we don't need that right now. We need everybody to sort of join together. I think you're still on mute, Tone.
No, I was. I didn't hit the button, but they muted me.
It muted you.
All I said was absolutely. That's all you missed.
Gotcha. Here's another one that's just a straightforward no. Do we even have to say this? Dressing up as Osama bin Laden, Dylan Roof, or even a generic member of ISIS are in extremely poor taste. Boy, words are hard today. This falls under the same heading as making light of a tragedy.
Oh, that was echoey.
So cross dictators like Hitler or Stalin or anything along those lines off your list. Yeah, it was funny sort of around the 9/11 because of what the world was dealing with there, but now it's just in poor taste, and it's not even really that relevant anymore.
Yeah, I would definitely not ever recommend dressing up as anything along those lines.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely not.
Here's one that, you know what, I don't necessarily see this as offensive because, people love celebrities, people love zombies, and you know what? Who's really going to complain? It's not like they can come after you. Dressing up as a zombie version of a recently deceased celebrity. So, Tony, you could go as zombie Eddie Van Halen.
No, that'd be cool.
We get it. You want to pay tribute to one of your dearly departed faves. Go wild with your Ziggy Stardust, your Purple Rain homage, or even an Amy Winehouse bouffant. But don't add zombie makeup. It's always too soon to wear someone's corpse. And again, that one I don't necessarily agree with. It's just sort of a mashup of two wonderful things around Halloween. And, you're not really offending anybody by dressing up as somebody who recently died, unless it was, a really tragic death.
Mm-hmm.
Like I wouldn't go as, I don't know, who died of a drug overdose. I wouldn't go as Kurt Cobain with a shotgun strapped to my chest.
Shotgun, yeah.
That's in poor taste.
And I swear I didn't have a gun.
Moving on with inappropriate costumes, anything that's sexual harassment. So, for instance, here's a costume of basically an old man flasher. He's wearing the trench coat, and then you open it up, and of course, everything's hanging out for everyone to see. Not the real stuff, but the costume version. Basically says the Me Too movement should have awoken us all from how unfunny sexual harassment jokes really are. But just in case, let's remind you, someone exposing themselves on non-consenting viewers isn't just in poor taste, it's a very real and traumatic form of sexual harassment. These kinds of costumes are straight up offensive and may even trigger those who have suffered harassment themselves. I don't like that word trigger, but in any case,
trigger!
Yeah, again, just probably not in the best taste.
No, it's in poor taste, and use your brains, people. Although I did see one of my friends was at a Halloween party this last week, and they sent some Snapchats. She went as a Starbucks cup,
Okay.
Which was clever. Yeah, it was cute. It was clever. But there was 2 people at that party, and they were flashers. But what it was it wasn't like really them flashing.
Mm-hmm.
So they had the trench coat, but when they opened, it was like just a skin-colored suit, of skin color, and it had the pixelated blur.
Okay.
Over like the girl had it over here and here, and then he had it over there. So,
right.
And it was funny. Like, that was humorous.
Yeah, they did it in a funny and tasteful way. And then, of course...
Yeah, it was definitely not an offensive way. It was very funny. It was creative, that's for sure, with the blur.
Oh, totally. And, if you're going to an adult party, dressing up as a sexy version of whatever you are dressing up as, whether you're a guy or a girl, go for it. It's the tone of the costume, not necessary, or sorry, it's the message of the costume, not necessarily the tone. So, it's just one of those things that you have to consider. And again, it's this day and age where everybody's a little just on edge about what everybody else is doing. So give it a few years, let things cool off, and then come back and see what the temperature of the water is maybe come 2021.
Right.
All right. Well, folks, that does it for our topic of inappropriate Halloween costumes. And
Halloween days among us. If you want to dress up as Scooby Halloween, it is good. You need a thermos. You want to make sure you have your little sash that says Mayor on there. And you want to make sure you ride your bike and you talk to Mr. Lambert, because Mr. Lambert, is that you? It is Mr. Lambert. He's a big dog.
And folks, being that Saturday is Halloween, be safe, have fun. When we come back, we are going to be talking football, NFL Week 8. G-Man, he's going to be joining us with his matchups. Folks, don't go anywhere. We'll see you in just a little bit.
Okay, what are you wearing right now?
Nothing.
That's right. So mommy's gonna teach you how to dress yourself. Underwear always comes first, name tag at the back, then pants, then shirt. Get the first button in the right hole or you have to start all over. Socks going first, then shoes right on right, left on left. With shoelaces, just take the ends, cross them over, switch the loops, the rabbit goes down the hole, pull tight, and you're left with bunny ears. Got it? Why are your pants on your head?
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. Visit 2min2x.org to find out more. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council.
This message is for all of you sitting in the passenger seat. And apologies if it gets a little uncomfortable, but how does it feel to be at the mercy of someone who thinks a random text is more important than your life? Someone who takes their eyes off the road while speeding along in a 3-ton hunk of steel. Freaky, right? Well, why not just ask them to stop? Or better yet, volunteer to text for them. It might be a little awkward, but believe me, you'll live.
Learn more at StopTextStopWrecks.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
We are live outside the home of Joe and Rosie Goddard, where a pretty big tickle fight broke out just minutes ago. Sources say their father instigated the laughter. Let's go inside for a comment. Apparently, they have no comment. Dads, let this be a reminder that it only takes a moment to make a moment. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
How's it going?
I'm having a stroke.
Are you going to shake my hand?
I'm having a stroke.
Wow, you're not even moving your arm.
I'm having a stroke.
When someone is having a stroke, they may not be able to say it with words, but their body language will tell you loud and clear. Look for FAST. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911 immediately. Know the sudden signs. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
Hello, Kubo. What have you got planned for today?
Come on, this way.
Adventure can be found anywhere, but the best place to start is in the forest.
It's the most powerful magic there is.
Head outside to discover incredible animals.
Wow.
And beautiful plants that come together to create an unforgettable adventure. So grab your loved ones and explore a world of possibilities. Visit discovertheforest.org to find the closest forest or park to you. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the U.S. Forest Service.
My teacher said that we should have a plan in case of an emergency. Do we have one?
First thing I'm gonna do is grab a flashlight with dead batteries.
I'm going to start randomly throwing clothes in the bag. You two will be hiding in the closet and Dad won't be able to find you.
And that's when we both start crying.
Uncontrollably. Can you pass the cutlets?
Winging it is not an emergency plan. Make sure your kids know what to do during an emergency, who to call, where to meet, what to pack. Search Ready Kids at nyc.gov or call 311. Brought to you by the New York City Office of Emergency Management and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Fenix Media, the future of broadcasting. Listen live at phoenixmedia.us. Get everything you need for the Kristian Fenix radio show over at phoenixmedia.us or on Facebook at facebook.com/Fenix Media Radio. Now back to the show. And we are back, folks. This is the Kristian Fenix radio show. It is Friday, October 30th. Now, we talk about it every day. It is the Fenix Line, a 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week voicemail line, giving you guys the opportunity to chime in on anything whatsoever. Now, we don't have a topic for Monday because we're not going to be here Monday. I'm traveling down to Southern California to see my boys for the Halloween weekend, but we will be back Tuesday. So keep an eye on our Facebook page for what the Tuesday call-in topic is going to be. That number, when you are ready to call in, is 855-FENIX-RADIO. That's 855-FENIX-RDO or 855-336-4973 for the alphanumerically impaired. All we ask is that you keep it entertaining. We'll compile those together and put them out for a future show. Now, if you guys are watching, you will see a familiar face on Fridays. It is the G-Man, and we've got one question, as we do every Friday. Are you ready for some football? Are you ready for some football, G-Man?
Man, let's bring the house down this week. Woo! I feel like a kid, who's been caught doing something wrong the last couple of weeks, because the top 3 picks, 2 weeks ago went 0-3 for the first time all year, and last week 1-2.
Yep.
So the top 3 picks have been, pretty brutal the last couple of weeks. But as I mentioned, point spread, it's a roller coaster. I think what happened with me personally is, of course, the numbers were in the 70th percentile, which is not easy to do.
No.
And so I got into a little bit more of the analytics and breaking things down instead of my routine that had gotten me where I was at. And so that's what I'm hanging my hat on as far as excuses. How sports betting goes, there's some psychology that goes into it. And so we're going to be continuing to prevail, through the rest of the year. We're having a good time doing this. And actually the numbers are actually still overall 63%. And the top 3 is 57%. So
exactly. If people
we'll plug away. I feel really confident about this week's games.
Good. Yeah. If people have been following along since the beginning, you have a winning record. It's at 63%. You're still above 500. So, and that's more than many of the Vegas analysts can even claim at that point. But you're already off to a good start. I think you predicted, Falcons 2 over the Panthers last night, and it looks like that paid out, correct?
Yeah, and that's one of the things, I'm going to put together a compilation of questions that I've been fielding over, since we started this. And one of them is, do I put money on the games that I pick? And the answer to that is a quick 100% absolutely. I think it'd be a little disingenuous, to just be throwing these things out without actually having a little bit of skin in the game, so to speak. And so I probably prefer to go into the weekend, with about $400, but if your budget's 40, whatever it is, and I will put a couple hundred, $200 to $300 into straight bets. Mm-hmm. Most of the time it's been $100, on the top 3, and then I'll throw 100 into the in-play that I talked about. And for example, that week that I went 0-3, I actually ended up, instead of losing $300, I only lost like a little bit over a couple hundred because of, some little hedges, that I made when things were going wrong. So.
Well, speaking of going into the weekend, let's start off with our wild card matchup. Did I read this right? You're giving the Bucks minus 10.5 over the Giants.
Yes, again, very unusual. That's actually my number 1 rated pick this week. Minus 10.5, I typically look to take points anytime, as I mentioned before, when it's in double digits, but there's just some prevailing things that are going on here. Since that first opening game jitters with the Bucks and the Saints, the Bucks have went 5-1. The one little hiccup that they've had was a 1-point loss to the Bears, and they certainly have opportunities to win that game too. So they're trending up. Man, it's interesting. Old man Brady, we keep waiting for him to kind of fall off, and it hasn't happened yet. And that guy, let's see, he had a 127 passer rating last week. You think about the fact that those guys are going to be getting Antonio Brown in spite of all his off-field travails over the last couple of years. The man is still a talent. And the thing is, he hasn't been getting beat up.
Yeah.
So he's going to come in healthy, and they're already balanced, super balanced on offense and defense. They have the number one rush defense, right now. And when looking at the Giants, their matchup, although it's on the road, one of the transitions I've had to make is that the home field advantage is no longer a home field advantage when you have a splatter of bodies the noise level just isn't there, even if they're piping, things in. So it's kind of like a 7-on-7 practice drill, for a lot of these QBs. And so looking at the fact that, Danny Dimes, the quarterback of the Giants, poor guy, he's the team's leading rusher. And, of course, everybody's laughing at him falling, when he was on his way to a touchdown.
Oh, yeah, that turf monster,
a couple of weeks ago. Looking at all things considered, I think that the Bucks, with the balance on offense and defense and just the disarray that the Giants are in with no identity, first-year coach, all these different things, I see the Bucks actually probably winning by 17 points or more.
Yeah,
not just 11. So
they're going to put up 49ers numbers. If you watched last week's game, that was pretty sad.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Tom Brady, they just keep stacking talent around him, and it's going to be impressive to see how they end up doing with his first year as a Buck. They have the potential to not only make it to the playoffs, but potentially go all the way to the Super Bowl.
Oh,
yeah, they have a legit look. Looks like their defense is legit. I got burned on of course, the Packers. I picked the Packers against the Bucks, and Dominican Sue, man, he, after Aaron Rodgers did that whole discount double check thing in the end zone or whatever he was doing, man, those guys just lit him up, And you can see Sue and him jawing back and forth. So, that defense of the Bucks is formidable. It's interesting and enjoyable to watch this team so far this year.
Yeah, and it's always hard to bet against Aaron Rodgers. He's just that unknown factor. Well, let's move on to our marquee matchup. You've got the Rams minus 3.5 over the Dolphins. How do you see that playing out?
Yeah, I took the Rams on that, which again makes me a little bit nervous. One of the axioms that I always talk about is the West Coast team traveling to the East Coast for an early morning game, and combined with the fact that the Dolphins are coming off a bye, which they've, teams they have that extra week to prepare for a game instead of just one single week. So that normally is something that I like to take advantage of. But we have a little different situation here. We have a quarterback change, although the team's 3-3. Ryan Fitzpatrick is out, and they're bringing in the rookie Tua Tagovailoa. Is that how you say his name?
Yeah.
I think that's about as close as you can get.
Are people that are
very
having
hard to say, yeah. It's very hard last name to say.
Yeah, Tagovailoa or something like that. And anyway, Fitz was the number 2 leading rusher, on the team. And I don't think that they're going to be letting Tua, coming off of his injury, they're not going to have him running around. And they're probably going to say, they'll be talking to him all week long about, under scramble situations, know when to throw it away, know when to eat it and stuff like that. So that factor of the quarterback rushing, I don't think is going to happen this week, at least not with the frequency that Fitzpatrick was doing it. And that being said, they're going to have to rely on Myles Gaskins, which he had a very good game. I think he was at 5 yards a clip, last week. But again, that's the Jets, and it's not the Rams. It's not easy to run on the Rams. They have a highly rated pass defense too, which means if you're not able to run the ball, then you're going to put the ball in the rookie's hands, and you're going to be going against the number 5 ranked pass defense. And so that being said, 3.5 points looks good. The Dolphins didn't. I'm sorry. The Dolphins, of course, coming off the bye at 3-3, they're going to want this game. But I think the Rams. Check my note. I think are the Rams heading in? Yep, the Rams are heading into a bye next week, and so they're going to do it.
Yeah.
Rams are going to hold up.
It'll be a fun game nonetheless. Interesting to see what Tua does. I think they pulled Fitzpatrick a little prematurely. You can't bench somebody for one poorly played game, considering he's performed so well the rest of the season.
Well, and I think when they pulled him too, they were doing great. They were winning, and they were just was kind of throwaway stuff, and they put him in at that point. So I don't think he saw it coming when they yanked him. He was just like, cool, we're winning. I'm doing great. We're putting a hurt on this team. I forget who they were playing, but they were winning quite ahead too.
Yeah, not fair to old man Fitzpatrick, but you know what? We move on. Speaking of moving on, our best bet matchup is Saints -4 versus the Bears, who I feel have a stronger record than they are actually playing. So how do you see that one?
Repeat that again, Kristian. What did you just say?
Oh, I was saying that the Bears' record doesn't reflect how they are actually playing. I think that their wins have been more lucky wins than anything else. I don't think they should be a 5-2 team.
Excellent. That's actually one of my points, is that they're a 5-2 team, and they could definitely be 3-4. They should have lost 2 games, one namely the first one of the year against the Detroit Lions. And you remember? So what's been about 4 weeks ago, I jumped on the Nick Foles train.
Oh, I remember
when he replaced. Remember that? Yeah, when he replaced Trubisky. So I've been watching those games very closely. And I had the Bears last week against the Rams. So I took those points, and that didn't come to fruition. So I've been investing, these picks into them. And the way that it's shaken out is that Nick Foles in the last 4 weeks, the last game, no touchdowns. He didn't throw any touchdowns. 2 interceptions, I believe, and he has 4 straight games with at least 1 interception. So coming into the to the year, now it's going back to what my original assessment was of them, and they should not have this record, that they have. They've been kind of fortunate. I'm not really impressed with Coach Nagy. Some of his points in the game, have been questionable. But of course, it's very challenging in the NFL. It's not easy. But looking at what's going on against the Saints, the Bears, have the fewest yards per game, in the NFL, as far as their rushing game. And the Saints are number 4 in the league against the run. And so the Bears' pass defense is pretty tough, but the run defense is pretty putrid. And so Drew Brees, of course, he's been figuring out ways to win the game. He has the number 1 completion percentage in all of the NFL, and he's been doing this without Michael Thomas, who is expected to come back this week. And so when you look at the overall firepower of the Saints, in spite of the fact that their defense against the pass, is not bad. Drew Brees may struggle a little bit. You never know. But then when you factor in Alvin Kamara, who, again, is probably, I don't know who else would be like the more dual threat, between running and receiving.
Right.
The man can do it all. So in looking at the fact, again, although it's on the road, and Saints historically don't play well on the road, and it is in Chicago, but it's not December Chicago. I think that the Saints should be able to handle this 4 points.
Yeah, absolutely. And in fact, I think that might even be a little conservative. So to recap, you have the Bucks -10.5 versus the Giants. You have the Rams -3.5 versus the Dolphins, and the Saints -4 versus the Bears. G-Man, we always appreciate it. With about 30 seconds left, if you want to let people know where they can find you and learn more about what you do.
Yeah, the business aspects that I'm involved with. Go if you're in the real estate industry, go check out actualtour.com. Big Bongo Production is our entertainment arm. Anytime there's any kind of show productions for Seedless Tendency or other musicians and entertainers in the area, that's something that they can go to also. And of course, the G-Man, we're hanging out here every Friday, right now. I apologize for not having video ready, but, said to have some business, out of town, Integrity Farms, that we have to deal with, about a little 2 and 3 day jaunts and, come back and take care of business here.
That's it. Life happens. Well, we always look forward to talking football on Fridays with you, G-Man. Always appreciated. When we come back, folks, we're heading to the final segment of the show. It is time for This Day in History. We'll see you guys in just a few.
See you.
This is Mario Andretti. You know me as a race car driver, but I'm also a Meals on Wheels volunteer. I've raced against the sport's biggest personalities, but I've never met more vibrant, amazing people than the seniors served by Meals on Wheels. You can make a difference by dropping off a hot meal and saying a quick hello. So, America, let's do lunch. Volunteer your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
People been saying to your friend, get a different face, and posting on their feed, they're super ugly. The things they say to them online are cruel and they're not true. So tell your friend, I'll stand up for you. Don't worry, I know what to do.
Know someone being bullied online? You can be a witness and make a difference by letting the world know it isn't cool and by letting your friend know you care. Learn more at eyewitnessbullying.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Hope you enjoyed your meal. And I just want to say, he's lucky to have a brother like you.
Lucky? Caring for my brother is far from easy. But he's a part of me, like my arms and legs, so I'll be his. No time for tired. Nothing can disable this love. He needs me, but I'm the lucky one, even though I need help now and then.
If you're caring for a loved one, visit aarp.org/caregiving for care guides and community. Support for your strength. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Allison is perfect. I mean, she'd never tell you that. She's humble and perfect. She likes everyone. She even likes her untidy roommate's weird guinea pig. Allison, wait, are you texting and driving? Allison, no. That's the exact opposite of what I was just saying about you. Why, Allison? Why? Texting and driving makes good people look bad. Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org, brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
I'm Paul George of the Indiana Pacers. When I was 6, my days were spent playing basketball. When I was 6, my dream was to make it to the NBA. When I was 6, my mom had a stroke. So I want you to learn to spot a stroke fast. F-A-S-T. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911. I'm Paul George. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
My name is Lola Silvestri, and I'm going to be 95 this year. I was very independent. I fell, and I had to have Meals on Wheels. America, let's do lunch.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org. This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Fenix Media, the future of broadcasting. Explore more great shows at phoenixmedia.us. Get everything you need for the Kristian Fenix radio show over at phoenixmedia.us or on Facebook at facebook.com/Fenix Media Radio. Now back to the show. Well, folks, we did it. We've reached the end of the week. The final segment of the show. This is the Kristian Fenix radio show. It is Friday, October 30th. Now, if you missed a portion of the show or you want to go back and catch up on any of the previous shows, it's easy enough to do so. Head over to phoenixmedia.us, click on the show's link, scroll on down to the Kristian Fenix radio show. From there, you can get video, you can get audio as well, or head over to wherever you get podcasts. Apple, Google, Stitcher, Spotify, Anchor Breaker, TuneIn, iHeart, Doozer, Dozer, Geezer, Gozer.
Are you a god?
Yes, I am.
Thanks, Ric Flair. You just saved us from the Stay Puft.
No problem, Kristian. I can't do a Ric Flair, so that's
all
why
right.
I have the woo button. I can't do.
That's why you
that
got
guy's
Macho
very
Man.
Yeah, that guy's very spazzy. I like Ric Flair, but he's very intense.
That is true. Well, folks, while you are there, be sure to subscribe. That way you always have the latest episode. Leave a review. Let us know what you think. And tell your friends, because why, Tony?
Sharing is caring.
And we care about you guys. So much so that we do this segment each and every day where we drop a little knowledge, hopefully make you laugh as well. It is time for This Day in History.
Crossing the globe for the stories that turn the world on its head. It's This Day in History with your correspondent on the beat,
Kristian Fenix.
Thank you, Siri.
I still like that every time.
I love it. All right, kicking off This Day in History. This day in 1502. If I tell you the name Vasco da Gama, what comes to mind, Tony?
Master Lagada?
Vasco da Gama.
Vasco da Gama. Tabasco. I don't know. I like good Tabasco.
No, Vasco da Gama was a famous explorer and spice trader. And on this day, he returned to Calicut, India for the second time, where he brought back all sorts of spices to his homeland. I want to say Spain. I don't think he was Italian. I think he was Spanish. But
Spaniards?
Nonetheless, spice trade was huge back in, that mid, 14th century, 16th century. And obviously, it's the reason why we've got many of the things we have today. Moving on, Tony, this day in 1866. What if I tell you the name Jesse James?
Jesse James, outlaw, cowboy.
Motorcycle builder.
Yeah, motorcycle. There was the other. And there's also a girl named Jesse James, too, that's not bad looking.
Wasn't she a porn actress?
Maybe.
Well,
not.
We're talking about the outlaw this day in 1866. Jesse James' gang robs a bank in Lexington, Missouri, steals a whopping $2,000.
Ooh, well worth it. Give me all your money. Dance, boy.
And I'm sure if you do the conversion, that's equal to like 10 billion. I don't know what the conversion is, but it's
but $2,000 back then had to have been a ton.
Yeah.
Didn't seem like that much today, though.
Moving on, this day in 1873, P.T. Barnum's Circus, the greatest show on earth, debuts in New York City, full of animal cruelty and clowns and bearded ladies.
I hate clowns. Hate them.
We all float down here, Tone. We all float.
I have them right down here. They all float at the bottom shelf down there. You can see on the screen. That's where it sits. Right there.
Moving on, this day in 1899, British Morning Post reporter Winston Churchill reaches Cape Town. I didn't realize that he was a reporter before he became prime minister.
I didn't either.
I thought that was...
For those... I got something in my throat. Sorry. I had mute for a sec.
Did you get it?
And we're back.
You're good?
I got
right.
Whatever it was. Yeah, it was a little bit of whatever was in the smoothie, a little of the protein or something.
All right, moving on, this day in 1938. This, I would have loved to have been alive when this happened to see the mass hysteria. A radio broadcast of H.G. Wells' The War of the Worlds, narrated by Orson Welles, allegedly causes mass panic. Again, people were convinced that aliens were invaded, and terrifying for people who didn't realize it was just a radio program.
That's what I always think when we start this day in history. I always think of it like an Orson Welles like radio. I picture like the old school box where there was obviously just the speaker and people would sit around it. Like my grandma had one of those. Not that we listened to it, but I remember seeing it as a kid. But that's what I picture is like a voice in there. The aliens are coming down right now. See, they're taking over, and oh my God, the building is down. A big alien. We need to get some water out here. They heard they fear the water.
And back then they had to do their sound effects live, so they had like bells and whistles and giant sheets for thunder, and now we get to just push a button.
Has the planet gone mad?
Makes life that much easier.
Yeah, it's fun.
All right, this day in 1940, film premiere of One Night in the Tropics is the first film for Abbott and Costello. Were you an Abbott and Costello fan, or a little before your time?
No, not really. I was more a Laurel and Hardy.
Okay, all right.
No, I don't know. It's Abbott Costello, obviously huge in the early comedian world, but all that older stuff is not. I'm too young. I can actually say this for once. I'm too young for that. I never really quite got it. So
well, and they had a series of movies where they did like Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein and Abbott and Costello Meet Dracula. Back when the Universal monsters were big, and that would have been fun to be a part of. And
they got replaced by Scooby and Shaggy.
Right.
Like Scoob, we're gonna be Frankenstein. Oh, you Raggy.
My voice can't do that today.
In baseball history, this day in 1963, Sandy Koufax wins the National League MVP award, and that just an all-around good player.
Yeah, Sandy Koufax was awesome.
He was. And then finally, this day in 1987, the song Faith, debut album by George Michael, is released. No, not the Limp Bizkit version. We're talking.
I like the Limp Bizkit version.
We're talking.
It's funny you mentioned Faith. I actually heard that song last night. I had a random work mix just with 80s, 90s, a little rock, just everything. And that song came on last night. I'm like, now get the F up.
And of course, fans of Deadpool know that George Michael is part of Wham!
Wham!
All right, folks, before we head into the long weekend and over to Halloween, we've got some holidays to run down for you. For instance,
holidays!
Today is Buy a Donut Day. I think I might just partake in that. Today is Checklist Day. I've always got a checklist. Today is Create a Great Funeral Day. Okay.
Oh, it's gonna happen in the forest.
It is Frankenstein Friday.
Frankenstein, what's gotten into you?
It is National Bandana Day.
Oh, sweet. I'm going to wear it around my face as a mask.
It is Mischief Night.
Oh, you know it.
It's Haunted Refrigerator Night. I'm not sure what that is.
Yep, there's a lot of dead bread and cheese and milk.
Speaking of bread, it's also National Breadstick Day.
Me, like your breadsticks.
It is the polarizing National Candy Corn Day.
Candy corn. Candy corn.
And to round things out, it is National Publicist Day, National Text Your Ex Day, National Speak Up for Service Day, Pumpkin Bread Day, World Lemur Day, and Sugar Addiction Awareness Day.
Nameless one, I'm texting you after the show.
Folks, that does it for our Friday show. Have a wonderful weekend and a safe Halloween. We'll see you guys Tuesday.
Okay.
You're listening to Phoenix Media. Listen live and explore more great